Can't be me like Nisi. To see me is gonna take a miracle. I'm dropping MCs hysterical with a touch of this twister, stylistic mixture. What I create pulsates. There is no escape. Annihilate your mental mind state. Boom, classic corrupt. Hello, America. Hello, world. Hello, you. It is your new best friend, Cashmere, California. And this is the Pod is Good podcast, aka the notorious PIG, episode 41. Pod is good, and all the time. If you know, you know. If you don't, keep listening. You will learn. Today, I got one of my new homies in the building. He's a fighter. Really cool dude. Let me just start there. Just cool dude. Overall, some people you meet and you're just like, they just got a vibe. And so we met recently. He's a boxer. He's ex-military, and he has an incredible story. He's a winner. I can tell you that just from hearing a little bit of his life story. He's a winner. And so today, we're going to have a really good conversation. Hope y'all are ready. Let's get it going. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Christian to the podcast. What's going on, Christian?
Going good. How about yourself, man?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Glad to see you. Thanks for taking some time out to hang with us for a minute.
Yep.
And I know you got I'm saying thank you specifically because I know you got a fight coming up. So you're supposed to be, in the gym getting ready, you know what I'm saying? Watching tape or something. But you took a moment out for us. Tell us about your fight you got coming up soon.
Um, November 4th is it's gonna probably be it's gonna dictate either a start of a new beginning or probably just right off into the sunset. So I
Okay.
mean, as much as I don't want to, I mean, my family comes first.
Yeah.
God first, and obviously, I'm working two jobs, assisting veterans that I served alongside with, past and
Yeah.
present,
Nice.
and just trying to establish a long-term career here in this world
Yeah.
nowadays. So
Yeah, man. I get it. A man of the household, sometimes we gotta just do what we gotta do.
oh yeah, definitely,
So,
definitely.
I already know how to go. What
Yeah.
weight class do you fight in?
Usually back then I used to fight at 130, 135. Now I'm fighting at 147, 150. So it's a
Okay.
light welterweight. So
Light welterweight. And I saw the flyer you sent me. I don't know if that's the one coming up when I was an old flyer, but it
mhm.
was Uriah Faber's
Yeah.
card or league.
Yeah, well, I started off in as a MMA fighter, fighting in the
Okay.
cage, and it was an inconsistent career because of military deployments. But
Uh,
I'm over here trying to do 100 things all at once at 100 miles an hour. So
right.
you
Yeah, trying to
so
be a professional MMA fighter and still being enlisted in the military. That's a lot, bro.
oh yeah, no,
That's a
yeah,
lot. I
it
feel like
is.
that's a lot mentally, emotionally, everything. Physically,
Yeah,
obviously.
uh-huh. Not so physically, honestly. Like what
Hmm.
it's a lot of mental, and what you if you have the good support of good family and good people around you,
Yeah.
you can go a long ways, depending on how you take it, whatever criticism they or feedback they give you. You want to make everything positive. So
That's a lot. You put a lot on your shoulders at one time. Some people might be like, "Let me get done with this military situation, and
yeah.
then I'll start working on this." But you kind of did it all. What do you feel made you want to pursue both of those things simultaneously?
Uh, you know what? I think it started with my mom asking if I had a death wish because I was doing, a lot of crazy things. Especially, at one point I was a forestry firefighter as well. So but
Oh,
I was doing it all, literally doing it all. So it was just over here, fighting fires during the fire seasons when how California gets with these bad fires.
yeah, yeah.
Training for these fights, and then after deploying, I went into the reserve side of things, and I was still serving the military on the reserve side, reserve component, but still, taking task missions, whether it was in the States or whether it was out of the country. So there was just it was just a lot.
Yeah. Dude, you fighting everything. You fighting terrorists, you fighting fires, you fighting opponents. You just a fighter all the way around.
I mean, you know what? We're all here for a purpose. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, I try to go to church every Sunday.
Hmm.
My
Amen.
relationship with God isn't where it needs to be or where I want it to be, but you know that door is still open. It's always open. You know, we all come up short. Every single day we come up short. But you know what?
Yeah.
I believe in that 1%. You look yourself in the mirror every day. You know, like I was just tired every morning waking up. You know, at times I would feel disgusted with myself. You know,
Hmm.
with the stuff that I do and I try to pursue. You know, sometimes I'm not satisfied, and I look at myself and I'm like, damn, all this depression, this anxiety, um,
Wow.
whatever life throws at you. You know what? I've I've been there. I've hit rock bottom. You know, I've learned to
Hmm.
appreciate almost every little thing. You know, especially
Hmm.
seeing things in other foreign countries, along with
Yeah.
just you know all the homeless people that man is there a lot of homeless people out here, but you know you're just very thankful that you know you're in a position to where you can actually still you know develop a structure and you know build yourself from that. So
Yeah.
other people you know they just fold up and give up, but you know the minute you fold up and you give up, you know somebody else is winning, and usually that's the devil. So you just want to stay
Man.
away from that.
Bro, that was whoa. That was big. That was big. The fact that you even said, I mean, I just give you so much credit because it's very hard for a lot of us to not only admit it to ourselves, but be willing to say it out loud. To say, my relationship with God ain't where I want it to be. You know what I mean? Like that's a huge statement. But
Yeah.
recognizing that it's always there, doors open. But to say like, I know it ain't, but I'm working on it.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That's
It's crazy how like you know coming back. Obviously, I had to adapt to society, adapt to people. You know, especially here in California. You know,
yeah.
it's different. You know, I've been stationed in different countries, different cities, and you know what you see a different type of you feel the different type of vibe. Like
Mhm.
you know when I was in Fort Leavenworth, Kansas City, you know, in the South,
Yeah.
everybody's so polite. Everybody say good morning. Everybody holding the door for
Mhm.
you, or just acknowledging you in any
Yeah.
little way or any way possible they can. Where you come to California, you know, people are brushing off your shoulders. Just people are just being stuck up, and you know, you try to just mind your own. Um, I'm not saying you know California is bad, but you know what? If anybody you know is stuck here in California or and gets to see another city or another state
Mhm.
on the opposite side of this nation, you know
Yeah.
you'll get to feel a whole different vibe, you know,
That's true.
and a lot of life experiences. You know what you get to see in a lot of things, but like I tell obviously you know you met me as a at Home Depot being a manager, me doing a million things.
Yeah, yeah, that's all
You
you
know
working
it's
hard.
a Uh, not hard enough. You know, your associates be like, "Oh, all you do is stand around all day." I'm like, you know, if I stay in one spot, I can't follow up on anybody else. And at that day, I had like what three different contractors in the building, my
Wow.
associates, and the only one running the store. You know, and being in charge of a multi-billion dollar store
Right.
company.
Yeah.
You know, it's a lot of people say, "Oh, you just work at Home Depot." Okay, well, that's what you think. You're entitled to your own opinion,
Right.
but what do you know that I do at Home Depot?
Exactly.
And you know what? I'm very very blessed to even have a job. You know, well now that I have three jobs. Fighting's another job. People say it doesn't count, but it's trust me, you take a beating as you can see on my face right here.
Yeah.
It was worse. It was worse a few days ago. My body's I felt like I got hit by a train.
Wow.
Um,
Wow.
but you know it's you know the reason why everybody asks why do you have two jobs? I mean, you know what? Sometimes I can't even answer that question, but there are
Mhm.
people that don't even have a job, you
Yeah.
know, so I'm just trying to live up to everything that I can. If I'm fully capable of if I'm fully capable of something, I'm going to do it and I'm not going to give up. You know,
Yeah.
I've gave up my myself numerous times when, you know, in my past
Mhm.
and at those times, I wish I never did. But you know what? I look back now and I'm like, damn, you know what? It's good to look back to see how far I've came. You know, that's the only time
Yeah.
I look back. I don't look back. I don't regret anything. You know, whether it was a ex girlfriend or it was something that you did, and you know you got caught up with the law, or
Yeah, just
you
some
know,
dumb choice.
yeah, some dumb choice. You know, you it's a good experience because now you know you live and you learn. You know,
Yeah.
and it's I'm I don't take nothing for granted. I used to take everything for granted. But you know, there's a you never want to take advantage of certain things, but do take advantage. Take advantage of an opportunity that's there. You
Hmm.
know, every single day we get to wake up every morning. You know, when there's that person that's lying in the hospital bed right this very second, I see you wishing that they were in our positions right now.
Mm.
And I tell my associates each and every single day, like, you know what? If this isn't the career field, I get it. You know, you guys just work retail. If this is not the career field you guys choose to do, whether it's my associates or just somebody out there just working a low end job, you
Yeah.
know, just take something from other people, learn something from other people, you know, expand, you know, just don't be stuck on one objective. You
Yeah.
know, like me, I'm over here trying to like you said, I'm over here trying to fight everything. So, I mean, it's an opportunity that's there. You know, it entails like you know 9/11 came up, and my cousin posted uh he I guess there was memories on his Facebook or whatever it was, and he's like, ever since 9/11, you realize that you were a firefighter at one point and joined the military, so you got to do both of those heroism things that
Yeah.
happened on that day.
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn, you know, I'm like, it just it
Huge.
shows that somebody else, you know, acknowledges you.
A huge
Um,
one.
and at the end of the day, like it's not all about me, you know. And a lot of people ask me, you know, like I got five beautiful kids. Yeah, I know it's five. They be running around, but you know, it's they come first before everything.
Right. That's why you
And
got all them jobs. That now I
uh,
get it. You got
you know
five
what?
kids.
Yeah, to be real with you, I'd rather work because these kids sometimes it's a different world now. You know, they
Yeah.
know different technologies changed. You
A
know,
ton. Yeah.
they're over here. I mean, they you know what? I remember my mom telling me and my grandma saying, "The way you treat us is the way your kids are going to treat you." You
Wisdom.
know, and they weren't wrong. They weren't wrong. But and not
Real.
all my kids do that, but they weren't wrong. You know,
Yeah.
I got my, I got my, it's my youngest, not my youngest, my second youngest.
Mm.
He's a smart kid, very very smart, intelligent. But boy, does that kid have a mouth on him. His name's Mateo, and he's very smart. He's always having that school recognition when he comes home.
Mm.
But I swear, this kid could be like. I told my son, I was like, you know what? There's a difference between cocky and confident. You
Mm.
know the difference. And
Fine line.
I'm only 9. I don't even know what confidence means. I'm like, boy, you better just go do your homework. So I mean,
Oh man.
he's a he. I know he knows what he's gonna Google stuff. He's over here on
Yeah.
Siri all the time. You
Mm.
know, he's gonna learn things.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
But
But
yeah,
dude,
it's
you like your gratitude is like on 10. I can hear it in everything you talk about. Your gratitude is just like just explosive. And then to hear you talk about all of these incredible careers that you've been a part of, some of them simultaneously, two or three of them at one time. But then I caught it when you said, but then sometimes you look at yourself and there's like some depression. There's some
yeah,
like, man, you're not doing enough. Like what does that come from someone who's doing so many great things? Like some of the things you're doing, if you take one of them and give it to somebody, they're like, "Wow, I'm it now. Like I'm a professional fighter. I did something." You're doing like multiple things, and you're still like, ah,
yeah. To be honest, there's you're never satisfied. It's you know like you see these you get these you know average people, and then you got these people that are making millions and millions of dollars.
hmm,
You know, and you're wondering how they got to that point. You
yeah,
know, I remember I was scrolling through Instagram, and the owner to the Mavericks, I think Mark Cuban,
Yeah,
I
Mark
believe.
Cuban. Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't start where he started off as. He bought he just never gave up.
True.
And you know what? I remember I hated him because, you know, I just hated the Dallas Mavericks at the time back in the 2000s. They were just whooping on everybody. And
Right.
Steve Nash, Dirk Nowitzki, and all them. When you were a California guy, you just, man, I hate those dudes.
Hate those
And
dudes. Yeah. Yeah.
so, but then, and then the way he looked, I'm like, man, this dude, like, usually an owner's in a suit. He's just wearing a t-shirt
Right.
and
He
a pair
all
of
on the
jeans.
field. I mean, on the court, high
Yeah.
five and everybody like, sit down.
Oh yeah. And it's getting to kind of digging deep in what how far he came. He
Mm,
started off with a few $100,000 that he had to. I think it was loaned to him. It's what you make of it. It's like the people that look up to me, whether it's in the gym, whether it's at work, whether it's being in the military. You know what? Nothing. Obviously, I come in a leadership role. Managing Home Depot, uh,
yeah.
being a firefighter, being one of the lead guys on the line, um, being in the military, and being a leader in that aspect. You know, being a leader isn't easy, and then again, it is.
Mm,
But you know what? You're a servant leader. You gotta have open ears. You gotta make yourself available. You gotta listen to everybody's opinion. You can't look at yourself. You're even though you're kind of high up there, you still you still gotta listen to the people kind of below you, and don't
absolutely.
act as if they're below you. Because I tell them every single day, I was like, look, I may be having a title as a leader, but it doesn't matter where I rank. What brought me here was how I carried myself.
Yeah.
And you know what? Leader is by action, not by where you rank or what
True.
your title is.
True.
I try to develop my associates, uh, my comrades every single day. Um, and you know what? I want them to be better than me. You know,
Yeah.
that's more rewarding to me, knowing that I help somebody succeed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Knowing that one day they can look back and be like, where did I get that from? It was that dude. Oh, it was the bald dude with the tattoos. you know, but they're gonna forget my name somewhere or another.
Right.
But
Right.
but
But they won't
hope
forget the impression that you had on them.
exactly.
Yeah.
You always want to make that impact in somebody's life.
Right.
And all honesty, like putting like I was that this mad fighter. I was still working, two jobs, three jobs, whatever, my kids, but I wasn't happy. No matter what little I have now or how much I have now, I make the best of every day I can.
Mm,
No matter what situation, I could be stressed as hell, but you know what? I'm not gonna make it a bad day. I'm gonna try to live. Uh, in life, we live in moments, right? So, I mean,
yeah.
at this very moment, I'm talking to, I met you, I met a good person, you reaching out to me and allowing me to be on the show, which I'm very thankful for.
Absolutely.
It's always good to meet somebody,
Yeah.
it's always good to meet different people, you get that different vibe. And there's some people out there that are just, I mean, what they call now toxic, and you do what you could do to kind of help them and support them,
Hmm.
but then again, sometimes you're like, you know what? I did my part. I put the tools right in front of them. It's up to
Yeah.
them if they want to take those tools and build their own structure.
Right. Right.
It's I can only help somebody so much, and
True.
same thing. They can only help me so much.
Yeah. That's a
So
fact.
it's
That's a fact.
I mean, yeah,
So I always do
but
I always do a top five, right, on the show. And my top fives
mhm,
kind of move around. Sometimes my top fives like top five rappers, sometimes it's like top five movies, sometimes it could be top five stand-up comedians. But you a fighter. And I'm getting that. I'm getting that whole
yeah,
sense of you a fighter. And so I want to do a top three, right? I'm gonna use the three major fields that you've been in that we've talked about. Um, you still there? Feel like you froze. He did fire. See, people don't be wanting to do my top fives. What is it about my top fives, man? What makes everybody run when it's time for the top five, man? All right, so we're gonna wait and let Christian get his situation back up, and I'm gonna hit him with one. Don't worry about it. Sit right there. Don't move. Christian is gonna have to do this top five. If you can hear it, Christian is a fighter, man. I want to get into that more because he's right. Heroism has been part of his life. Fighting for the right things, that's a heroic act. Fighting fires, fighting in the military. Come on, come on, and fighting opponents. I don't know many people that would do all of that. A lot of people will be a firefighter, and then they might, once they finally leave that, the next thing is going to be a little more relaxed. You know what I'm saying? If they were a professional fighter, cool. Now that that's over, now I'm gonna do something a little less demanding. D- Christian is a special guy. Christian is a very special guy to not only string these things along back to back, but some of them he's doing them both at the same time. But one thing that really is standing out, and I know I said it to him already, is just this idea of his gratitude. Like his gratitude for life, his gratitude for people is, you can hear it. It's just like jumping off the page. But it makes sense, right? It makes sense that you would put yourself in the line of fire, no pun intended, in that way to where you may have had these moments that allow you to embrace life even more, to embrace those sweet moments even more, where they say the air is a little fresher and the flowers smell a little sweeter. You recognize and notice all these things in your life because of those moments that you felt like, whoa, what if life ends? Or just what if the quality of my life has now changed even for this a moment of time? You know what I mean? I think that's I think that deserves a certain amount of like credit and a salute to people like that. So I guess as we wait, we're gonna clap it up for all of our um, armed brothers and sisters in the service that do their job, that stand up and fight fights that none of us want to fight, but we need fought. We appreciate you. We appreciate you. Also to the firefighters. Not, I guess you're armed as well. So I mean, I guess I'm gonna group y'all in, but shout out to all the firefighters as well. And we're gonna get into the professional fighters very shortly because my guy has a fight coming up, and I want to hear what that process is like. You know what I mean? Like we hear about it. We know there's weight cuts. We know there's strength and conditioning. We know there's a camp to prepare you for a fight, but I personally have never talked to somebody who's actually been a part of that. And even that, imagine what you're doing. You're low key starving yourself. You're pushing your body to new limits. You're stretching the you know the expansion of which you can go. I couldn't think of the right word, but you're like stretching your limits. That was the word, not expansion. You're stretching your limits, and so in that, it's gonna be kind of brutal. It's gonna be painful. It's gonna be, times where you feel like I want to quit, but you power through it because you know that the end goal deserves it, right? And so that's huge. That's huge. That's huge. And you can imagine how that could lead to someone's overall gratitude of life when it's time. Think about it. Think about a time that you were hungry, right? You hungry. You hungry. Pull your wallet out, your purse, you're like, ooh, okay. Or maybe not. Maybe you're just in the middle of a travel and there's nothing around right now, or you in the middle of a hike, whatever. We all been hungry. So whatever your reason was, where you were hungry for an extended period of time, not like, oh, I'm hungry, let's run over there, and then you eating within the next 15 minutes. I mean, like you're hungry for, some hours. Maybe it was intentional. Maybe you were fasting, whatever it was. By the time you eat again, it's like, oh, like that meal feels different than if it was your third meal of the day. right? That meal feels different than if it was the main course after the appetizer. Half the time you full already now. That's kind of what happens in these fight camps. And so it makes sense. It makes sense that someone of his caliber is that puts himself in these these moments of desperation and moments of um, great capacity would also have a great level of gratitude for life overall. I think that's really the underlying tone of the show. I think I got my guy back. Christian, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I was like, where'd he go?
All good, all good. All right, so I thought you ran because I said top five. People when I throw out top five, people be like, "Oh, they be trying to disappear on me." So top three, top three. I want to hear your top three. You are a fighter to the core, right?
Yeah.
I want to hear top three. One will be um, in the army.
Mhm.
One will be as a professional fighter, or even when you were an amateur fighter. Either one, a combat
Yeah.
fighter. I'll say that, and the other is a firefighter. One of your top three moments that you recall that you really had to fight in either of those times, like hardest, whether it was a weight cut or an actual fight going into that third round, whether it was a fire that you had to go deal with, whether it was basic training, whether it was a deployment, whatever it was, take me through your top three fight moments.
Ooh,
I know, I'm putting it on you. I know.
that's a good one. Um, Let me see. There's three. We'll start. We'll start with three.
Okay.
Um, and yeah, this was actually it was a. I think we were doing we were up in Reading. The fires was about almost 2 years ago,
Hmm.
maybe a year and a half ago. Um, the fires were really bad. We were getting call signs on the radio saying, "Oh, you guys are going to be camping out here." Being a hotshot firefighter, you're going to be camping out there 3 days at a time, sometimes a week at a time.
Wow.
Um, I had my boy Avila, uh, younger cat. Like still, he looked up to me. Everybody said he looked up to me here,
Wow.
um, and he still does. He's actually we're pretty close.
That's cool.
Uh, we He still calls me for advice. He actually joined the army himself. It was what did we do? Oh, so me and him we were wandering off. Um, I'll be honest. I was those vape pens. They
Mm,
have wax in them.
yeah.
Well, it was my first time doing that stuff. So we was up there and we were fighting fires and we were on the firing line. We kind of spread ourselves out, but man, I had those. I remember before we went because the pay is good being a forestry firefighter. It's like $700 a day.
Oh wow.
So we went to Bass Pro Shop and then we stopped by like a Best Buy and we seen these brand new Bose sunglasses. Matter of fact, I still have them.
Hmm.
And because you're not allowed to wear no AirPods or nothing because you're here
Ah,
for the communication. But man, the sound on that was that
shout
was
out to
dope.
Bose. Shout out to Bose.
Yeah, yeah. Shout out to Bose. Well, just the premium sound on them, like it was like you can hear it, but in like certain ways, like about a distance, people can't really hear it.
Yeah, yeah.
So me
No.
and him, yeah, we bought a pair of those, both of us, and we was under the influence, um, in a very very dangerous situation, which is a safety situation. So it was,
Yeah.
and we kind of wandered off, and
Oh shoot.
it was you know, when you're up in the forest, there's wildlife, and they're gonna come down to where they're trying to escape the
The
fires.
fire. Yeah.
Yeah, I've never seen a bear before up close, So I've never seen a bear before, and the bear wasn't my concern because he was just trying to drink some water where we were
Yeah.
at. I looked I looked to my left, and I thought I was just tripping, and I seen this big old mountain lion, and Oh man, like it was a fight. Like I've never had like what's crazy is the animals are a lot more feared of you than you are of them,
Yeah,
especially but don't get me wrong, I was scared. I was like, man, if I was like, God, if I die today, you know. But
right.
then again, I was thinking every case scenario. I was like, I'm probably in better shape than Avila. All I gotta do is outrun his ass. so, so, and I told him that too. I did tell him that. I'm like, hey, if push came to shove, man.
Hey, hey, you should have hit leg day up with me. You should have hit
Exactly.
leg day with me.
Yeah, I was like, I'm gonna run at the bottom of the hill, and if you can't keep up, I'm sorry. But I'll come back for you.
I'll come back,
I'll
but
come back. But
because the line gonna be full. So
yes, so it was man, it was crazy. But I actually got to. I don't know what got into me. I think it was just like an instinct. Like I can't. I look more like a coward if both of us didn't come back.
mm,
Um, so I had my favorite tool as a firefighter was a McLeod. So it's like a rake on one end, and it's really sharp. It's a sharp blade on the other end. So it's
okay,
like it kind of it's like it's almost just like this, but a back into it. So you're kind
gotcha.
of raking, and,
Oh
and
my
it, that
God.
yeah, that was my favorite tool of choice. Everybody chose an axe, whatever. I
Yeah,
mean, nobody, not every, an axe doesn't really do much. I mean, unless you carry the chainsaw, which nobody wanted to carry the chainsaw because it was too heavy.
yeah.
Um, it was a moment, man. I whacked that. I got to hit the lion,
Uh-huh.
and he got off of Avila. So you know, it
Hold
was
on, hold
one
on, hold
scary
on, hold on,
moment
hold on,
for
hold on,
that
because you
very second.
hold on, you kind of cut out for a second, and
We
so
still look
I'm
back at that and be like, damn.
oh oh no, hold on, let me get him back. I got to hear this mountain lion story. What? I didn't know it was what? That was a good question. I did not know we were going to end up talking about trying to fight off a mountain lion. I thought he was just going to say something like, "Yeah, man, the fire was so hot, and we walked too far into the middle, and it came around the backside of us, and man, we just had to sprace, and try to feed the fire in a different direction." So luckily that everybody had access, so they started chopping chopping some trees and bushes to try to feed the fire away from us. We barely got out. No, no. Christian said he first it was a bear. Let's start there. There was a bear. What? But then he said the bear's not the concern. Has anybody ever been in a situation that's so crazy that the bear is not the concern? I ain't talking about like the San Diego Zoo. A wild bear, not the concern. I could deal with the bear somehow. This mountain lion, on the other hand, oh my goodness. Come on, Christian. Come on, Christian. You got to come. Now I'm even more excited about the other stories. You start telling me a UFC story, and then you'll say, and then, you know, my body started ascending into the spaceship. Like, what? 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 I apologize, everybody, for the technical difficulties. I'm not sure, what's going on Christian's side. He fighting through that too. Everything he does is a fight. Everything he does is a fight. Um, so we're gonna get him back into the show so we can finish this story. Because oh my goodness, I need to hear about the time that Christian had to fight off the mountain lion. Christian, you there yet? Okay, no, I don't hear him yet. Oh, he getting it together, getting it together. Oh, there you go. There you go. I see him. All right. Let me bring my guy back into the studio. There he is. All right, we good?
Yep.
Okay, so please. I missed towards the end. So all I know is you got your favorite tool. You
Yeah.
said you feel like you look like a coward by being the only one that goes back. So you leave your guy there. All right, what
Yeah.
happened?
I just man, I went in the guns blazing. I just kind of tried to throw a whack at the lion, and he just ran. So I was like, man, that's all I had to do.
So it was like a swing and a miss, but he
Yeah.
still took off.
Well, it was a swing and a miss, and I fell because I threw all my might into it. So it was like I let. Good thing there was nobody around, but and my boy was already on the ground, probably in shock, and I just did like a Tiger Woods, but you
Yeah.
just see me having that full backpack with water and some goods, like
Yeah, you got a lot of weight.
yeah,
Yeah, lost your
it was
balance.
just yeah, it was like splat. And I'm like, you know what? I ain't embarrassed because I'm still alive. So
Right.
yeah.
And what was your guy doing?
Oh, he was on the ground. He was just in shock. So like he's like, damn, like he really did leave me here to die. I didn't leave him there to die. Like
Right.
he keeps he keeps mentioning that every single time we bring up the story. But I was like, you still here
Wow.
though?
Wow. So the mountain lion never really did anything at you guys, but he was
Mhm.
there.
Yeah,
And then so hold on. Now that I know we got rid of the mountain lion with the Barry Bond swing,
yeah,
now the question is, but there was a bear there. You said there was a bear.
yeah. The bear was minding his own business. He was just drinking. Well, I think that bear was just so dehydrated. I think it was that season where they're hibernating or whatever,
Yeah.
and he just it was a rude awakening, fire like with fire, destroying their natural habitat. So,
Oh my
but
goodness. The
we
bear.
were we were a good distance from the bear though. So
Okay. That bear probably saw everything that happened to him was like, that's crazy.
yeah, probably.
All right. So that's number one. All right. Number two, that was a firefighter story.
Uh, number two, yeah. Let's bring in a military story. My top, like it's just you sticking up for your guys. There was Guy Belly came out. I was in the reserve now. But I was in charge of my own section. I had my own guys, but I was well respected around the unit. For my one, everybody knew I was a pro boxer. Two, everybody knew I was like the PT stud, always physically fit, always working out. But just me being just trying to be a good person. You always want to brush off good vibes, you know, through everybody. You don't
Yeah.
want to be the bad guy. You don't want to make enemies. You just
Yeah.
you want to be that guy.
True.
Um, we had a new guy from coming from active duty, and some people like to use their title, like to use their rank, and whatever the case
Yeah.
may be. Like he was an E5. He was just like me, a E5 sergeant. Had his own guys, but we were on the beach doing like it was family day, so we had our families there. Unfortunately, my family didn't get to make it, but a lot of people had their families there. We did a battery run, which is all the soldiers. We would pretty much be in formation, and you get the commander and the first sergeant to lead the way, along with the platoon sergeants, and you guys pretty much march and sing cadence while you guys are running the beach down in Santa Monica, which is I was on the reserve side. I was stationed down in West LA off of Federal
Okay.
Avenue and Wilshire.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so the beach is right down there, and our families. We were gonna have family day at the beach. Volleyball, barbecue, and get our families together.
Yeah.
Well, this guy, he no family, no nothing. A younger cat, but used his rank, and I'm like, what is like he decided to well, military we call it smoking, so it's like a disciplinary action that they do. But
Yeah.
it felt like he was just trying to use his rank to try to embarrass one of my soldiers.
Hmm.
Um, and I everybody just kind of looked at me like, damn, like he just doesn't know who he is. And I was like, hey, that's
Hmm.
my soldier, and he got in my face, and he threw a swing at me. So it was, and I
Wow.
was like, and he missed, and he just kept going, and he just kept missing. But and I wasn't even throwing my hands or nothing. It was just my footwork,
Yeah.
you know.
You was just looking
Um,
like,
yeah, I was like, man, you look really, really slow right now. And I didn't even have to touch him at all. So it
that's
was he
hilarious.
he made himself look like a fool, and you just had everybody just like it was quiet at first, but
Yeah.
then everybody just started laughing at him. And then I was like, look, I'm not here to fight. Like there's kids right here, there's people's families. But he
Yeah.
was just trying to act like some type of hard dude. And it was, I think it was just me sticking up for my guy, especially, what made me feel better was his daughter was there, and you don't do that in front of family and friends and even civilians that were out there because we were
Yeah.
in military uniform where the PT uniform is black, so you're wearing black shorts, black t-shirts, and I'm like, there's certain things you can do and what you can't do around people,
Right.
but he could have handled that a different way. He could have brought them back to the armory and we just had their own smoking session in the room, but you just at the end of the day, it's all about respect. You know,
Always. Always.
if you respect somebody, they're gonna respect you. But he
Yeah.
just that was just all disrespect. Not only to it was just disrespectful. It just made the unit look bad. Um, the morale of the unit as well. But I think what it kind of offset a little bit because of my actions
Hmm.
and me sticking up for the guy. And you know what, just that military. It didn't have to be me being in combat. It didn't have to be me being, just overseas. That was it set a statement knowing that I had a full, a um, battery sized unit, to have my back, and
Hmm.
it was just that's what felt great.
Yeah.
But
That's
you
an
know what?
that's an
Yeah, it's
interesting fight story because that's like it reminds me of the best offense is a great defense,
oh yeah,
and so
yeah,
it sounds like you were able to fight with just defense and
yeah,
and completely nullify the situation.
yeah, exactly. And you know what? I was the only one. Like there was a lot of rules that I didn't follow. Like get tattoos on. Like you're not supposed to be getting tattoos on your neck when you're in the military. I got them. Like now I think they kind of like let it from here on back. But I
Hmm.
was always all sleeved up, and my first sergeant didn't even tell me anything on my commander. So it was just under the commander's discretion. But it was just like I was just different,
Yeah.
and you want to be different, not in a bad way. I
Yeah.
just it was I'm not gonna get nothing stupid on me that doesn't mean something. Obviously, IGY 6 means I got your six,
Hmm.
so it's a military saying, and I got the three crosses right there, and just me being a warrior of God, you got the Spartans on the side, and
Wow.
we're all warriors of God. We're here for a purpose. We're pretty much in the realms of fighting our demons, and hopefully one day we get to make it home.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Absolutely.
it's like I said, I don't get nothing stupid, but I like to be different, and like every tattoo on me has a meaning, and I tell all those, you know what, I love everybody. I have love for everybody. I got love for you. I got love for my associates, my coworkers,
Yeah.
my family, my kids. You know what, you're here like that's what you want here on earth. You want the peace, and hopefully people will be loyal to you, and
Absolutely.
loyalty is a big thing. I think loyalty is a lot bigger than what love entails.
Mhm.
I'd rather have somebody that's loyal. Obviously, I haven't been on the right side of that.
Yeah.
It's been crazy. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
it has.
No, that's huge. That's a great number two. Since you brought it up, we're going to detour just for a second before we
Hmm.
get into your number three, which will be as a pro fighter or
Yeah,
just as a combat fighter. Period.
yeah,
Let's talk about your tattoo life because you are tatted up. So,
yeah.
what was your first tattoo?
My first tattoo, I was 12. I was 12. I was
What?
in yeah, I was 12 years old. In
12 years
my life,
old.
yeah, it was, yeah, it was actually, it was my initials right there, the
Ah,
CM, yeah,
yeah.
and then obviously they built over it, built upon it. It was with a guitar string and a motor and some ink. So it was just I was a really bad kid. I'll tell you that. I grew up with, I had a good family. I just made the wrong
Uh-huh.
choices. I grew
Yeah.
up in, my parents were both hard workers. My dad himself worked two jobs. My mom was the her job was just from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. in the morning, at night. Sometimes more overtime. You know, they just wanted to put a roof over our heads and make sure that we had clothing on us.
Yeah.
Made sure we had. You know, we would always cry about, man, I don't want to get in that piece of shit car. So
Mm,
they would buy like something actually that they actually, you know, they actually cared about their kids. I can't speak nothing bad about them. Yeah, at one point, you know, I was the problem child. Um, but disappoint them. My parents are really old fashioned. They don't believe in tattoos. Not None of
mm,
them have tattoos. Um, you know what? I'm actually the only one in my family, other than my little brother, that has tattoos now. So,
wow.
well, he only has just 93 to infinity, and that's all he's getting. But me, I'm just, yeah, I'm just literally everywhere. So, but
And you started
it's
at 12. So yeah,
I started
if
at
they didn't
12.
even believe in tattoos and you're gonna
Mm,
go sneak off and get one at 12, I
yeah.
know that started
Oh,
something.
it did. I mean, my dad didn't really, he couldn't really do nothing. He's like, it's already there, you know,
Right.
and it's just, you know, it's I gotten just a lot of meaningful things. I think everybody goes, which one's your favorite tattoo? I was like, damn, you know, that's kind of hard.
Yeah,
But
that's always
I think my favorite one is it's on my bicep. That says, "For those I love, I will sacrifice." You know,
mm,
it's
that's
like
good.
you,
That's really good.
I will do anything for those that I love. Like
Yeah, that's huge.
you just don't mess with the people that I love.
Yeah,
I'm To be honest with you, like I see death as a sign of peace. You just never know when it's your time. You can die getting hit by a car out here on the streets,
true.
you know, or but my theory was, you know what, I've always wanted to, if I were to die, I wanted to die in combat, knowing that, you know
Mm,
what, you know, and I did it to honor this one grateful nation, and
wow.
for my family, and for what I stand for, you know, and like, you know, obviously right now I don't have a significant other. She's out there. You know, I pray each and every single day. You know, God sends me somebody that's gonna love me, that's gonna be loyal to me, and that will never bring me out of my zone of peace.
Yeah,
And you know
yeah.
what? It's
That's the hard
like
part.
you said, the energy that I have, I'm just at peace with myself now. Like I put God first, and everything just started coming together. You know, I'm not in the right situation, you know, all the time,
Yeah,
but you know, I make the best out of each and every single day. Feel me? So
right.
it's fun, man. It's like, yeah. Am I tired because I'm working overnights? Like nobody wants to work overnights. I work in the daytime too. I'm literally up almost 24/7. Especially I'm training as well. And everybody goes, how do you fit all that into your schedule with your kids, church? I mean, I'm like, you know what? I just don't make excuses. It's
Mm,
just you can make anybody can make so many excuses to get out of things. But my part is I'm gonna make excuses, but I'm gonna make excuses to avoid all the bad things and all the useless things and do the most important things that I have to do throughout that day. You know,
that's the,
and you know it's crazy how things work. I was watching you know, the importance of just what of what a second is. You know, um, there's 84,600 seconds in a day, right?
hmm,
And I was in a really bad, like about a year ago, I was trying to, and I wasn't the bad guy. I'm not saying she was the bad person, but you know what? I did literally everything from spoiling her to trying to be there for her, be there for her kids. You know, she would make a lot of the wrong choices, always trying to find an excuse to fight, always trying to find an excuse to go out drinking with her friends, and I'm not that jealous type of person. Obviously, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna continue to do me. I'm gonna continue to work both my jobs. I'm gonna continue to love my kids. I'm gonna continue to try to be there for you. But you know, she never made time for me. Like I couldn't even get a simple text message or a phone call. And
wow.
I told her, you know, there's 84,600 seconds in the day, and all it takes is just not even a second to text me, I'm doing okay, or how are you? You know, if they
Yeah,
can't find 1 second out of that 84,600 seconds, you're really not important to them. You
that
know,
says
so
a lot. Wow,
yeah,
that's
so
a good
it,
point.
it's crazy, man. So
Good
I'm like,
point.
you know, I'm like, I'm like, damn, you know what? I was like, Jesus, a second, 84,600 seconds. That's a lot. And
Yeah.
then you think about it, you're like, if I could just scrape up a penny every second off the floor, because you find pennies all the time, I have so much money
Be-
right now.
Right. You be filthy rich. Yeah.
Yeah, so you look
No,
at
that is
you just
that's a really good point. Your
yeah,
your love language must be like clearly acts of service and like quality time. I'm,
yeah,
I'm pretty sure your love language is probably rank in that area. So in that person that's out there waiting for you, hopefully she recognizes that soon. You know what I mean? You recognize
yeah.
hers because clearly that's a big part of your life.
Oh yeah. I mean, you know what? Speaking of that, I hope you don't mind. I mean, there was a I was working at Vatos Tacos as a restaurant manager.
Mhm.
When just things were falling apart. I'm thankful for the opportunity. I've never managed a restaurant before, but he's like, you just have good leadership qualities. Um, I came in one day and the girl that I associate myself with now, I'm not saying I don't know if we're talking. I don't know. But what a few weeks ago, um, we ran into each other on Instagram.
Mhm.
And it was crazy because that day that I met her, I never forgot about her, and I was going to talk to her that day, but I remember my one of my servers was like, "Hey, the girl over there at that table is asking if you're married," and I just said I don't know. Um, it's crazy because I remember what she was kind of wearing that day. I couldn't point out the color. I know she was wearing something bright,
Mhm.
and I went over there to bring the drinks that they ordered.
Yeah.
Obviously, her friend said those are the wrong drinks. I don't want them. So being a manager, you're like, man, you wasting my wages right now. You wasting alcohol. And I'm like,
Right.
you can go ahead and keep those. I'll bring you
Yeah.
the ones you want. So I decided to make the new drinks. I brought them out, and she, uh, I guess I had her attention. And by the time I was gonna go back over there after I did say happy birthday, I mean she made me nervous. I was like, damn, you know what? She's different. You
Mm.
can feel that vibe in somebody. Like
You can feel
she's
it.
different.
You feel it. Yeah. Yeah.
And I guess I waited too long, and she left. But a year later, which was 2 weeks ago from that year, we ran into each other on Instagram, and I got the messages on Instagram saved, and
Wow.
she's like, "Oh, so you do remember?" I was like, "I did. I was trying to find you. You disappeared on me."
It only
But the
took a
reason
year.
why, yeah, well, we added each other. I followed her, and then she followed me back.
Hmm.
Um, because I did recognize her, but I never messaged her or anything. Like I did put like hearted some of her photos and on her
Yeah.
stories. And then I
Yeah.
posted one day I was getting out the gym, right? I was getting out the gym, and I went to some sushi place, and I got me like one of those eel bowls and
Hmm.
something else, and I just got out of practice. I'm really exhausted. I kind of want to sleep, so I grabbed me a beer, and I posted on there. I was like, because the waiter was like, "Why are you eating by yourself? You're really handsome." And I'm like, "It's peaceful and it's cheaper." So she started cracking up. She had a laugh out of it, and
That's good.
I posted that on Instagram, like in like how she asked and how I said it,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then she commented on my story. She's like, "Cheaper, huh?" And I'm like, "What?" So I think
Ah.
that's how all that started popping off, and then
Yeah.
she posted the Bible. I remember in her story she posted the Bible, and I was like, wow, you know what? Not a lot of people do that nowadays. You know,
Yeah.
a lot of people like pictures of. It's pretty sad to say how the world works now.
True.
A, a girl exposing herself with all this skin will get a million freaking likes.
Easy.
You know, easy, right?
Yep.
And I could post a picture of me and my kids, and I'll get like 20, 30, maybe 70. I don't know,
Right.
but it's crazy how it works out. I'm like, damn,
So
really?
true.
And you know what? That captured my attention because it was the Bible. and I
Yeah.
was trying to actually like I was trying to zoom in to see what verse was she was looking at, so I could actually
Mm,
kind of quote on it, and
yeah.
try to be an icebreaker, make a conversation. But
There you
all
go.
I put was
There
like,
you go.
"You go to church," so and that's where it started off
Hey,
from
it's
there.
good enough. It's good enough.
Yeah, so things happen for a reason. You just got to start somewhere.
Absolutely.
But like ever since then, we've been talking. Like I thank her a lot because I feel like whether this works out or not, God sent me somebody that's actually that listens to me,
Mm,
and we can talk. Like we were on the phone for like 3 4 hours at one point,
that's
um,
awesome.
numerous times, and she would talk to me literally about anything. So, and it's
Okay.
like, and right after that day, right after that day, I think I met you that day. I'm like,
Mm,
oh, he's an electrician. And to be honest with you, I think you were up on the roof, and I was gonna kind of like mess with you because I seen the little sip in that wire. I was like, I wonder if I tug on this, but I'm like, nah, I don't want to do that. Just to see if he's up there. And I don't even know how he's up there because there's some big ass rats up in that ceiling.
yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, I was like, I'm like, I get that guy a lot of props. I may be in the military, I may be
Mm,
a firefighter, I may fight in the ring, but I do not fight with rats. I don't mess with spiders. I see a spider, I'm running.
you out of
So
there.
I'm out of there. It's just a fear that I have. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
it may look like everybody be like, how in the heck like you walk around like you about to go kill somebody,
Right.
but you're scared of that. I'm like that spider could bite me. I can't bite him back.
Right.
So
Good. Good point. Somebody punch you, you can punch them back.
exactly.
I get
I
that.
mean,
I get that.
yeah, and me, I'm not a fan of horror movies. I hate like I
Mm,
mean scary movies. There's a difference. I don't
yeah.
like those ones based on a true story because I pretty much live by myself. Um, and I don't like just those. It gives you that. It just
Yeah.
doesn't give you a good feeling. And
Gruesome. Yeah.
yeah, and I've suffered from sleep apnea, sleep insomnia, and not too long ago I had a really bad sleep paralysis. I
Mm,
haven't had it in ever since I left the military, but they all started coming back. But and it was just consistent every single
wow.
day. But what's crazy was all I said was I remember saying a prayer like this. I swear this this was so bad. I thought I was gonna die in my sleep, and I was
Mm.
just telling him, God, if you're gonna take me now. You know, it's like it was. It looked like I don't know if you walked Home Depot, but at the front, I swear it looked similar to that boogeyman scary
Oh
thing
yeah, y'all got
that
some crazy stuff up there.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was. It felt like that was hovering above me. There was no face to it. It was just pitch black, but it wanted to suck me up,
Wow.
and it was like it wanted to suck up my soul, and I can feel it. Like my heart was racing, and I was like, man, like I was yelling for help. My son was sleeping right next to me, and my 4 year old, and it just felt like there was so much pressure on my chest. Once I woke up from that, it was like I didn't wake up. It was like
Mm,
it was happening while I was awake.
mm.
So it literally scared the crap out of me. I didn't go to sleep the rest of the night, and obviously I hardly sleep, so that was the most sleep I was ever going to get.
Yeah.
But it's just like I feel like prayer is a big thing, and when I said a prayer, it all went away.
Yeah,
But
calms your mind. But you're
oh
not
yeah,
the first ex-military person I've talked to that suffered from night terrors
mhm,
or from just not being able to sleep overall,
yeah,
insomnia. I mean, it sounds like I don't know everything you went through in the military. I know the last
yeah,
guy I talked to was talking about he was out there for Operation Iraqi Freedom.
yeah,
So he was talking about seeing death on that level, seeing people
yeah,
blow up bombs and kill kids, and it's like a lot of the stuff he never really dealt with. It kind of
yeah,
turned into, I don't know if you feel the same way, but it was like a part of his life that existed almost like a separate life. And so when he came
exactly,
back to being a civilian, like he just doesn't deal with it anymore, but it found its way back in these
yeah,
night terrors and insomnia and things of that
yeah.
nature.
No, he's absolutely right. It's like your heart never leaves that spot for some reason.
Mm,
You know, it's always going to be with you. You
yeah.
know, seeing the things that I never wanted to see. You know, I didn't expect to see, and you know what, we're everybody here in the U.S. You know, like I'm like, and whoever's watching this, like, be very thankful because you know what, we get in trouble if our kids don't go to school or if we don't go when elementary to our high school, the parents get in trouble. Over
Right.
there, these kids are wishing that they had the opportunity to go to school.
Mm,
Instead, they're putting a rifle in their hand and they're learning how to kill.
yeah.
And that's what a lot of people don't see.
True.
They don't get to see the fruits and labor of what our families do to give us this freedom.
Yeah.
But in other countries, it's just it's crazy how the world works, man. It's all countries are different, and that's what we don't realize. That's what we're not grateful for. But I'm glad that I got to see a part of that.
Yeah.
And
That's
I'll
huge.
be forever grateful for that. And that's the reason why, like, what, everybody thinks I'm a mad person all the time. I don't know if it's my demeanor. I don't know if it's they say what resting bitch face nowadays.
Yeah.
But I'm like, man, but obviously I do smile when I smile, but I do laugh and I love to have a good time. But I'm like, you guys, like a lot of people that they judge a book by its cover
Yeah.
all the time,
Yeah.
and I get that. I understand that.
Of
Like,
course.
I'm very fortunate with Home Depot. Like usually, a lot of jobs they're really big on like how the tattoos are,
Mm,
or back then probably, but I still suit up and put on a tie, and I still carry myself. I think it's just the way I do my interviews too. Um, but I came in as an external with Home Depot,
mm.
with no experience, not coming from the associate level, but already put in a leadership role.
Wow.
Um, just like Walmart too. So it was it's I'm very grateful and thankful for the opportunities that you know God's given me, and you know what, God speaks through people.
Absolutely.
He speaks to Mother Nature. He speaks to everything,
Absolutely.
and it's like it's crazy because I feel what, I'm very blessed. I felt like I lived a if I wasn't to wake up tomorrow, I'd be very grateful for everything that I've accomplished,
Oh yeah.
and
Oh yeah.
it's big, but
Absolutely, man. You've lived that kind of life so far. And I know you're going to continue to live that life. All right, let's jump back to your number three. Let's get into that the combat
um,
story.
the combat fighting,
Yeah, the time, your
um,
number three, the time that you had to fight. I mean, I know you have to fight the whole time, but like one of those
yeah,
stories that really stands out where you had to dig deep.
when I had to dig deep, it was redemption. Um,
Huh.
I remember it was so to dig deep, I have three different moms. So I got five beautiful kids, but all of us we all get along now.
That's good.
Actually, they're very thankful for. They're actually proud of what I've accomplished and being really good to my kids.
Nice.
Um, well, with the first three, I chose my career and I was very selfish. And she chose to find somebody else, and now they're married and they're actually expecting another baby pretty soon, and I'm really happy for them. With the second one, that's when I had my fourth child, Mateo. Um, that was the one where I had the most struggles with, and that's when I was fighting with pretty much not only a broken heart, but I was homeless for almost a year.
All right.
I was homeless for 9 months. Um, I had nothing. I literally had nothing. I come from a small town, Porterville. I moved to Bakersfield, um, and I'm like, damn, I got my kid. Not the first three, but I got my kid. I'm like, I got to go to work. Now I'm like, who's gonna take care of my kid?
Uh,
you know,
yeah.
and I'm like, damn, I did it because I left, and she. I'm not gonna speak bad about her. I'm not gonna get into her business, but yeah, she was unfaithful. And I'll leave it at that.
Uh,
But you know, I was just, I was over here like in my head, I was like, I'm still willing to take you back. I just want you back.
huh.
But you know, I met Cody Sons, uh, coach of, I think he's coach of Hammer. Now he has his own gym, Hammer Down Fight Team, and I did MMA. and I was coming from a very tough loss against Devin Chavez, which uh, which was one of he was a really good fighter back then in MMA. I probably could have made it to the UFC if he just pursued it.
Hmm.
But life happens.
Yeah.
Um, and I joined Cody, and uh, they called me for another fight. This one was against Tristan Palmer, and me and him are actually really good friends now. He joined the Navy about 3 4 years ago.
Nice. Nice.
But that was a pretty intense fight. He submitted me in the third round.
Huh.
Yeah, it was the third round. Um, but I gave it my all. Jesus Christ, I gave it my all, and excuse me, I'll stay on. I gave it my all, and she and yeah, yeah, yeah,
I was gonna mute him real quick. You good? You good? Um, yeah, he's at the crib. We seeing him living his life. We get to peek into Christian's world real quick. All right, so he's back. He's back.
yeah. My carpet cleaners.
All good.
Uh,
All good.
I don't even have carpet. I got tile. But that comes with Home Depot.
Hmm.
Um, it's a what
So
were we
you were
talking about?
saying
Oh
that
yeah,
he submitted you in the third
yeah.
round.
Third round,
What,
and
what
you
was
know
the
what? We
submission?
arm bar.
Oh,
Like it went from a triangle, and I escaped the triangle into an arm
that's
bar.
that's how it happened. That
Um,
transition.
he almost he was trying to take my arm home. I think he. I was like, man, but he came from one of the really good camps. Josh Koscheck was actually his
Yeah.
sparring partner for that fight.
Okay. Okay.
So he had some really good training partners. I was coming back, and you know, but I still wasn't satisfied with that. And this fight was up in Fresno, at the Save Mart Center. And then you know what? They're like, you know what? That was one hell of a fight up until you got submitted. We want you back. There was a I don't even know this dude's name. I just I'll figure it out. I think it was Bryson something, but
Hmm.
it was a very bad. Like I've respected every single one of my opponents.
Right.
This guy was just flat out disrespectful. Like just
Uh,
talking all this crap. Telling me he was gonna knock me out. But and I was fine with it. Like I'm like, oh, this is the fight game. You know what? A lot of people were actually wanting to see that fight because how intense it was.
yeah.
You
Yeah.
always have to have a villain, and you
Oh
always have to
yeah.
have good
Those,
guys.
those grudge matches, they just feel
Yeah,
different than just another respectful fight. I mean, that's always great to see
yeah,
like the respect level and the techniques being displayed. But it's another thing when it's a little bit of I really want to do you bad. Like when you got that in
yeah,
there too,
yeah.
takes it up a little bit.
Oh yeah, and it was crazy. Once we got in the ring, right after Wayans was more intense than the fight was. To be honest with you, it was both camps trying to fight each other. Um, I just I remember that day, and then I ate a big meal. I think we went to down the street on Rosedale, Hoppies. So, man, I was munching on those pancakes like crazy. Because I haven't eaten. I was cutting down to 135.
Yeah, man.
Naturally, walk around 160. So I got to eat pancakes, and I ate that for breakfast, lunch, and a little before the
I
fight because
bet.
I was just that's kind of my favorite food is just pancakes and that syrup. And they the fight night was everybody was just cheering. Me being the local, it was here in Bakersfield.
Okay.
Being the hometown kid, and even though it's not really my hometown, but it's the city that I represent now.
Ah, yeah.
It felt good having the whole city behind your back. And I think that's one part of what made me so confident going in there. I felt like I wasn't even scared. I wasn't nervous. I was like, damn, like let's do this already.
Yeah.
And it was the first round was just a feel out match.
Yeah.
We were just filling each other out. The second round, The second round was just all out. Just it was a brawl. We kept the fight standing up. He tried shooting for a takedown. I think I dazed him with a knee
Oh,
to his chin, and then honestly, all I had to do was push him down. But there was only 10 seconds left in the round. He crawled back up and finished the round strong. For those that don't know, every second in the fight feels like it's a long time being in there. No matter if it's 3 minute, if it's a 3 minute round, 5 minute round, it feels like
it was
you're in
like
there forever.
forever.
Yeah. Then the third round came, the last and final round. Um, I ended up knocking him out, and
Oh,
it was he. Well, he took me down. I was like, damn,
he got you.
he took me down. He got me,
Yeah.
and I was like, he was trying to seal the deal, trying to get full mount. Um, I remember I believe I had my hip out of his guard, and then I pulled away and pushed his knee off to where I can escape, and I wizarded him, and then I just started throwing some uppercuts,
Mm,
and I threw some uppercuts.
dirty boxing.
He yeah, he flew to the fence, and then that's where I kind of trapped him, and I threw an overhand right that he when I looked at the film, he was already knocked out standing up,
Uh,
but I guess I was keeping him up by throwing more uppercuts, and that's when this big old ref comes takes me and just throws me right off,
mm,
and I think that was probably the best victory I've had.
I know that
Father's
felt
Day was the
good.
next day, so
It's
it felt
especially
great.
the whole city behind you. So I know they erupted like.
Oh yeah, there was a. I'll tell you what. I didn't go home sober that night. I'll tell you that. So it was a pretty,
And-
and I didn't even spend a single penny. I really
right.
don't know where my winnings went, but I think my dad took that. I don't remember, but it was just it was all it was fun. It was enjoyable. It was a moment to share, and I'll still remember that till this day because it was one of the best victories I've had. So
Yo,
I mean,
that's
it's a
crazy. And that was at featherweight.
yeah, that was at featherweight.
Massive,
Hmm.
massive.
That was fun. Wish you were there to see it back then, man. It was pretty crazy.
I was just thinking, I think I'm gonna have you back on and us do like just a full episode just about the process of being a fighter from nutrition, from conditioning and weight training, weight cuts,
Yeah,
the dealing with the nervousness and the emotions of it, the
yeah,
aftermath, how you come back down, what that transition is like, the balance of at home life with what's going on in the gym. Like I was because
yeah,
I was about to ask a question. I'm like that almost feels like a whole nother episode that
yeah,
we can do. That's purely for like the fight fans or people that are at least interested and intrigued into that whole idea, like the life of a fighter. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So,
It's an intense life,
yeah.
especially when you're working a full time job. I was managing Walmart, and I had 400 associates at the time. So I was managing Walmart, and you know what? My fight camp was pretty intense.
Yeah.
I went up against Trayvon Marshall, a number 10 welterweight in the world. And he's my coach is from Chicago, Vince Rock Hudson.
Mm.
He's been in there with a lot of the greats, and he's instead of him when he flew over here, I was like, look, they're paying you per diem. They're giving you cash to stay at a hotel. Pocket that stuff. You stay with me. That way you can wake me up in the morning. And he's like, yeah, that's a good idea. That's a good idea, champ. That's a good idea. Not realizing he was going to use the bullhorn every single morning to wake me up. I'm like, I'm like, you realize I suffer from PTSD, right?
Right. That's not
And
helping me, bro. That's not.
yeah, and then he's like, well, we're doing it my way. And I'm like, he's the boss at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Like, I listened to my coaches. I put my pride aside, and it was a good camp. We came up short, but you know what? We don't lose. We learn.
That's right.
And
Right.
that's what a lot of people say. I lost. I was like, nah, you
Yeah.
learned,
You got
and
you.
guess what?
Now,
You're gonna come back 10 times stronger.
if you didn't learn, then you lost. Because if you
Exactly.
just took an L and didn't
Hmm.
benefit from it, then you just lost. But yeah,
Yeah.
for the most part, if you recognize it properly, yeah, you learned. You learned.
Yeah. Exactly. Kobe didn't win all his championships.
Right. Right. At all.
You gotta you just have to you lose some, you win some,
Yeah.
and you know what? That quote by Michael Jordan, I failed and failed and failed 100 times, and that's how he was successful.
Yeah.
And you know what?
You need that.
It's always good to read little quotes here and there, and you can apply to them and relate
Yeah.
to
It's
them.
wisdom.
And it's words of wisdom.
Yeah, man.
It's wisdom's a big thing. Like my grandpa would always tell me, like teach. Why are you teaching me this? Why are you teaching me that?
Hmm.
I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. I don't want to learn this. What am I going to use it for?
Yeah.
But you know what? I remember him saying, I teach you because when I teach you, I'm teaching your kids as kids as kids. And I didn't really get that because I was only in the fourth grade at the time.
It's passing it
But
forward.
now I do.
Now you get it.
And you know what? Yeah, now I get it. And he brought up another one too. Is like, you could teach a man how you could give a man a fish and he'll eat for a day.
Yep.
You teach a man how to fish, he's gonna eat for a
That was
lifetime.
lifetime.
So I mean, it's crazy how like little things like that, just little words of advice,
Yeah.
words of wisdom, can actually you can actually input that into not only myself but others, and it's that small impact that can affect their future and create a big impact throughout their lives. So
Absolutely.
I'm very thankful for all that.
Yeah. That's dope. All right. So the next fight is November 4th.
Hmm.
This is the comeback fight.
Yeah,
This is the
it's a
comeback fight.
comeback fight.
And
Yeah.
so, and you said this is going to determine a lot. This either says,
Hmm.
we out of here. We going, we doing this, we heading
Yeah.
for a title, or
Hmm.
all right, the time
Yeah.
has passed. We're gonna just let that
Yeah.
go.
Uh-huh.
Now, a lot of fighters, say that, you know what I mean? But then they get in there, that adrenaline gets pumping, they start getting that feel
Yeah.
again. And even if they do learn and they don't
Yeah.
win, they might be like, I don't know, I felt pretty good in there, kind of,
Yeah.
I felt like I might have,
Yeah.
he caught me, but
Yeah.
so how hard are you on yourself with that decision? Or are you really just leaving it open, letting God lead you?
I'm whatever God has plans for me.
Hmm.
Is he's gonna lead the way. I prayed every day for this. I didn't think I was ever gonna come back.
Hmm.
I knew I had some in me, coming actually helping my guys that actually have fights coming up. Arturo Burgos has a fight coming up as well. Um, uh, uh, Silva has a fight. They, there's a few in our gym that have fights coming up, and I was just over there helping them, and they're like, man, why aren't you fighting still? And I take it as a compliment. They're like, your movement, you're still there. It just the muscle memory never left
Yeah,
you.
yeah,
And all honesty, like I pick up from every single fighter, from Pacquiao, Mayweather, um, Triple G, Canelo, like like you pick up simple traits from all those fighters. Like people would hate on Mayweather because he would just pretty much dance around the ring. I'm like, your job in that ring is to hit and not get hit. You
right,
can't get mad at a fighter for choosing his career.
right,
That's his career at the end of the day. And
right.
you can't play boxing. People die in this brutal sport.
Yeah,
You can go through a lot of health issues,
absolutely.
including death. And I felt like I said, there was there was days where I couldn't even get out of bed
Hmm.
because of these brutal wars in that ring. And it's a lonely sport. There are times where, like, yeah, when you come up short, it's natural. Like I've went through my shares of depression, my shares of anxiety,
Yeah.
my shares of like, damn, like why, like, and then
Um,
you rethink it. You're like, man, if I just threw that one punch, man, if I just did this, you like everything just starts slowing down, and you're like, but you didn't do it, you
but you did.
know,
Yeah,
and you're here now. So be thankful that you're still alive. You live to fight another day,
yeah, absolutely,
So I mean, it's
absolutely.
I don't wish nothing bad upon any opponent that I have. I'm not gonna take them into. I'm not gonna treat them any. Even though everybody says, "Oh, you're better than him," or "You're a better fighter than him," you can't. You got to take into consideration. He's he's on that stage with you for a reason.
Yeah,
You know, you can't. There's advantages he has that you don't have.
Yeah.
and like I've fought many fighters, and I've taken a lot of them for granted to where I ended up getting my butt whooped. I mean, I some of them I got, I came up victorious, but then I'm like, damn, you know what? There's a lot of things I could have done better. I shouldn't have taken that round off. Like there are times where you'll see some fighters, they'll slow down in the mid rounds and they'll pick it
Mm.
back up, or they'll
Yeah.
they'll
Yeah.
just trying to fill it out. It's all up to the fighter how they want to do things. And studying your opponent or you're watching film on your opponent. Um, but like being a fighter, it's a full time job. And me
Yeah.
working at Home Depot, like sometimes people see me shadow boxing and doing stupid crap, but I mean, it's natural. I mean, it's
Yeah.
I'm literally moving all the time. I'm literally running around and trying to be the best version of me each and every single day.
Yeah.
Starting with my mental health. Um, you know, a lot of people like I when I get into the gym every morning, 3:30 in the morning, right? Um, I get like my fellow teammates or whatever with a long face, and they're like, "Why are you so happy?" I'm like, it's not that I'm happy. Like, I'm thankful. I'm in
Thankful.
peace. I'm in peace. Like
Yeah.
he's like, "Why we got to do this? We got to do that." I was like, "Look what you're saying right now. Church, just change that word 'got to get' just real quick."
Yep.
Because guess what? You get to wake up in the morning. You get to be in this gym. You get to work out for your health.
That part.
You don't gotta be here
Yeah.
because we get to open our eyes. We get to
Yeah.
breathe this air. I mean, it's not the best air in the world, but we
But
we
it's
we
there.
yeah,
Yeah.
we get to do things. A lot of people don't have that. Guess what? Like I lost I lost my best friend, my daughter's godfather, about almost a month and a half ago. He was
Mm.
there for my. He actually he was probably a closer role model to my daughter than I was because I was deploying a lot. I lost him about. It's going to be about 2 months now.
Ouch.
It still
Sorry.
it still hasn't yeah, it still hasn't affected me, but we grew together. We were both managers at Burger King when we were kids. Like we were like the youngest managers. Um, and we thought that was pretty dope. Obviously, it's not a career, but I ended up going into the army, to change my life. And he was all like, the real ones, they still stick around through and through.
Always. Always.
And you know what? The last conversation, like he's always supported me in every single one of my fights. Was
Mm.
a big fan of the fight. Like I wasn't even into fighting when I was younger. Um, I never watched the UFC. He was always into the UFC and in boxing, and I was just I did it, but it was a love hate relationship. I was that lazy kid that just wanted to play like not play video games, but just do my own thing and
Gotcha.
not and just chill and just have a good time.
Yeah.
But then you know what? I was always in the gym, by force. Um, and you know what? Eventually, I started finding the love of the sport, and then it just became a part of me. And it's always going to be a part of me. And
Yeah.
now my kids love to do it, and like I said, if this fight will it can determine the outcome of what I do next. And honestly, like I feel like if I choose to walk away from this now, like I could support two of my kids that are really into boxing as much as I don't want them to do the sport because I felt the brutality, and honestly, now I can see why my mom didn't want to see me fight.
Yeah.
You don't want them hurt in that ring, but then again, you just have to give them that full support, 100%.
Yeah.
And you know what? To be honest with you, I feel like they're gonna probably be a way boxer or fighter than I ever was.
Wow.
Just the passion that they have for it, the growth, the they're asking questions like they're an experienced fighter in there. And I
Wow.
remember, I think Tracy, my oldest, I remember he was giving his mom attitude, so I took his Nintendo Switch away and I put him in the ring. There was a competition back in our gym. They had like a nonprofit competition to
Mm.
make money for the kids to travel for boxing and other competitions.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna put him in with the biggest kid in the gym. That way that he can humble him. Man, he ended up whooping that kid's ass, and I was like, man, that didn't teach him anything. But At the same time,
Like that
it was a
backfired.
yeah, it was a proud father moment because you could
Right.
see the crowd into the that little kid is sharp, like his head
Yeah.
movement, his footwork. He was in and out, like he was
It's
actually like
dancing.
oh he was like he looked like he was floating in there. Like it was just natural, like and he would even tease the guy. He put his gloves down and he would just stick his tongue out at him. I was like, you know what?
Um,
That's the thing I'm have to get on him about later on because
yeah.
no, you should be respecting every single opponent because he could have just thrown a punch and got
Right.
lucky.
Right.
And
Hard
nah,
to
man,
tell them that nowadays though, because you got your McGregors, you got your Nate Diaz's, you got your
oh
people
yeah,
that have that persona, and so kids are like, I ain't never seen them get knocked out from it, so
yeah. So I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna try it.
right.
So it's good though. He's a good sport. He's actually playing football now, and he's actually doing all of it. He's doing football, water polo.
Oh wow,
Man,
just like his
I'm
dad,
like,
it's just like his dad.
yeah. Well, I mean, he has my full support. If I didn't get to go to. I mean, I have my associate's degree in criminal justice, but I did that through the military, and whatever career path he chooses to pursue, I'm all for it.
Yeah,
Along with my daughters, my daughters are like, they're they hold the key to my heart, and every single day, they're my Aaliyah is the second oldest. You know, she's the type she'll put everybody in check. She's the one. She's
mm.
that one. She's the more mature one out of the oldest and all the youngest. And then
She
you
got
guys,
daddy's leadership qualities.
oh yeah, she does.
Yeah,
She bossy. She's bossy. Like she will be like, "Hey, you guys need to clean up your mess. You need to do this," and she'll be up at that stove cooking, dinner
wow,
for them. So and
impressive.
yeah, she learned that from grandma. She didn't learn that from me because I can't cook with shit. But it's
And
it's
grandma's a good person to learn how to cook from.
oh yeah, because when I come
You're gonna
home and
learn
I'm
from
exhausted,
somebody.
oh she does. Like I was like, what is this? And she's like, well, grandma taught me how to cook. I just started YouTubing stuff, and I'm like, damn. I'm like, all right,
Mm,
I'm right, cool. So she's actually
that's all.
she's almost like a mother figure
Wow.
to my kids, her siblings.
Yeah.
And I'm truly thankful for that. I'm like, damn, like you guys are growing up so fast. And my youngest, my 4 year old now, he's going to school, and I've never got to be there the first day for any of them.
Mm.
I missed when I during my military career, I missed three of their births. Um, the Aaliyah, Elizabeth, and Junior. So the youngest one I missed. So it was Tracy and Mateo I was here for,
Mm.
but it was just but I never got to go to them. I missed their first day of school too,
Man.
and timing is everything, and I feel
Yeah.
horrible for that.
Yeah, of course.
Finally, I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna miss my youngest. Like I want that experience, man. Like my kid's mom was like, why are you crying? I was like, how can you see me? I'm wearing sunglasses. I'm like, this is crazy because I'm like,
Yeah.
he's growing so old, and yeah, I got emotional. I ain't afraid
Right.
to hide that.
As you should.
I'm like, damn, I don't have a I was like, I wish I could still change his diapers, no matter how much I, cried about it,
Right.
But now, he's a little older. He has that. He's the instigator. I'll tell you
Hmm.
that. He's the one that tells people, "Hey, go do this," and it's usually never the right thing. So I remember I had my kids. So my dad brings these big old Foster Farms, the the, the boneless wings that
Mm-hmm.
he gets from work,
Yeah.
and you know, my 8 year old Mateo, every kid asks for like a Nintendo Switch or whatever the case may be, right? This kid asks for an air fryer. I'm I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm like, this dude keeps his air fryer in his room on top of
Right.
his mini refrigerator. He will never leave that room.
Oh
But
wow.
he
He's
has
a
his whole
different kid.
setup, like, and for was it 2 Christmases ago? After we bought his Xbox, he wanted a full sound bar, and
Mm.
I'm like kid, like,
He's,
and
he's
he
a
has a
different
nice
kid.
set. He has a nice setup in there too, and I'm like. And then, I thought he was gonna ask for a bougie bed. All he wanted was a futon. He's like, I'm hard. I'm just gonna sit down on it anyways. so, so I just got him a futon. But him and his brother, they're like, hey, he's a gamer. He's doing this and that. So,
Yeah.
but Mateo's the nerd of the family. He, like I say, he's a smart one and the
Yeah.
smart ass. But he's it's crazy. He asked for an air fryer so he get grandpa, like, I guess every month, like, they get like free bags of wings and chicken and all that stuff. So he wanted an air fryer, and that boy will never leave his room when that's in there. I'll tell you that. His fridge. What I got to do is I got to take away all the soda that's in his refrigerator. He's stocking that up, and I try to get them to drink Gatorade. That's why I'm drinking this little one right here. But I'm like, I'm he's something else. He has like a full kitchen in there. I wouldn't doubt if he has a George Foreman grill underneath his bed. So,
Young
but
Mateo, young
yeah,
Mateo doing his own thing. My sister, she in there cooking, in
yep,
the main kitchen with grandma. Taught her out. I'm gonna
hmm,
be in here with the air fryer. You gotta love that, dude.
yeah,
It sounds like you have a very incredible family.
yeah,
There's a lot of love and unity and all of that. And I understand that feeling of crying. You see your kids, dude. There's been times I've been at work at night
yeah,
running cables, and next thing you know, I'm thinking about the kids, or I'm having this memory of like this thing that they used to do, and they want to hear this song and how we used to all sing the song, and
yeah,
realize that, like, you know they're not there anymore. It might only been 3 years ago, but
yeah,
it's like that part is over. Then you start kind of like thinking about how they're gonna continue to get older, how they're gonna move out. Next thing you know,
yeah,
I'm pulling wires like, oh man. So I get it,
yeah,
bro. I get it. Kids are
yeah,
so important, and it's like, if unless you have children, you can't connect with that emotion. You'll never be able to
yeah,
completely understand why your parents said what they said to you, why they,
yeah,
chastise you for what they chastise you about. Like, when you have kids, it's like full circle. It's like,
yeah,
got it. Because now I'm able to
yeah,
exemplify that kind of love and care that
yeah,
only a parent can do.
yeah.
So
Of course, it's a wonderful feeling being a parent. At times, it is stressful. You do have your struggles, and they will push your
yeah,
buttons. Believe
yeah,
that, they'll push your
yeah,
buttons. But you know what? It's a true blessing. Like, I'm truly blessed with every opportunity God's putting in front of me. Whether it's my family, whether it's my kids, whether it's meeting good people like you, whether it's the new girl that I'm talking to, and hopefully that goes down the road.
we like new girl.
But
We like new girl. She was posting the
yeah, she
Bibles. I like her.
yeah,
I like her.
she's beautiful in every aspect.
Lovely, lovely.
So it's she's a true blessing. Like I said, whether if it goes further down the road, whether it works out, like, um, I felt like I've kind of overwhelmed her a little bit because obviously she already knows what I want.
Mhm.
I want a family. I want a partner that will be loyal to me, that'll love
Yeah,
me, and that's all I need. Like they say, like in a game of chess, every king needs his queen. And it's all true. Like, and it's she's good to me so far. Like, I like to surprise her a little bit. I got her a big bouquet of roses the other day after. So I've been there's this new app called Prize Picks. I don't know if you heard of it,
uh-uh.
but it's a parlay bet.
Oh,
But
okay.
I don't bet too big on there.
Yeah,
But when I bet, I just place a little bet, and if I invest in it, I invest. If I lose it, all right, cool,
right.
whatever. I'm not gonna put any more money into it. And I woke up. I played with $50 that I had in there, and I woke up with $1,250. I'm like, oh shoot, So I'm like, what the heck? All I did was guess. I don't really watch
Right.
baseball like that. Like, I'll watch the Dodgers, but that's it.
Wow.
And I just, you just pick if they're gonna go either more or less.
Yeah,
And you know what? I'm like, you know what? I was like, it's the man up above. He heard. I was like, you know what?
nice.
But I mean, I know you're not supposed to be betting, but in life we always gamble all the
It
time.
is.
We
True.
take a gamble. So
Well,
it's a
I'm gonna hope all the best for you and new girl.
Yeah.
You know how these girls are. Slow it down a little bit for her. Be
Oh
intentional,
yeah.
but you got to slow cook it. You know what I'm saying? You
Yeah.
gotta let
Yeah.
that roux build,
Oh
let the
yeah.
flavor build on it.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so man, you've lived, clearly a life as a fighter, a life of leadership, a life of loyalty, and
Yeah.
even more so, especially nowadays, a life of gratitude. And man, I really appreciate you being on on the show. I'm wishing you incredible luck and blessings, and strength and
Yeah.
endurance for your fight November 4th. I know it's going to be a good one. I know you're ready for it, and you're going to continue to get you know even more prepared as we get closer. I do want
Hmm.
you to come back. I don't know, I, I would love you to come back before the fight, and talk about
Yeah.
what it's like being a fighter, because you're in the middle of it. And not only
Oh
are
yeah.
you in the
Yeah.
middle of it, but you're in the middle of it from, like you said, your resurgence. So it's like,
Yeah.
man, I'm in the middle of the weight cut. I'm in the middle of it. Like, I would
Yeah.
love that, if you could come back, maybe a week or two before we get to the fight, and we do our fight episode. I think that'd be really cool. You know what I mean? If you have it
Oh,
in
no
you.
doubt. I mean, yeah. Yeah. No doubt. I'll probably use my iPad this time, and then we'll probably be at the MGM Grand in Vegas when I call you,
Hello.
and it'll
Fight
be
capital.
a better scenery than my dirty kitchen over here.
We'll be
But
at the fight
it's
capital.
like,
I like it. I
yeah,
like it.
so it's gonna be fun, and hopefully, well, when that day comes, there'll be probably some good people surrounding me that you probably would want to hear from them of what I carry and what purpose I was here for.
Yeah, that'd be dope.
Um, but I'm hoping, Jesus Christ, but I'm hoping to eventually be world champ one day, and that's the goal. That's mainly the
I
goal.
like
So
it.
I mean, if I can if I can be world champ, it's gonna be a fun. It's gonna be something that I could talk about.
Absolutely.
It's a legacy that my children can live
Yeah.
on, and hopefully they could tell their children's children, that I
That,
made it.
that great grandpa was a world champ.
Yeah.
Love it. All right, my
Yeah.
God.
So,
Thank you so much, bro. I appreciate you. This is how we send off. I will say pod is good. You say all the time. I'll say all the time, and you say pod is good. You got me?
all
All
right, I
right.
got you.
Pod is good.
All the
And
time.
all the time,
Pot is
my
good.
guy Christian, I appreciate you, bro. Take care of yourself. Get ready for that fight. We'll talk real soon.
All right, sounds good. Hey, I'd like to see you again,
Yes,
man.
sir. All right, peace.
All right, thank you. All right.
And there it is, ladies and gentlemen, episode 41 of the Pod is Good podcast. My guy Christian. Come on. Come on. Do I be disappointing? Just let me know. Put it in the comments. Do I be gassing the show and then not coming through? Or do I really be on point? If I tell you, you will be inspired, you will be motivated. If I tell you, it will be heartfelt. If I tell you those things, by the time we are here at the end of the show and the guest leaves the studio, do you feel like we have succeeded? I hope that you do. I hope that you do, because we are going to continue to do exactly that. If you enjoy the content, please follow, subscribe, like, share, comment, whatever you want to do. Do them all if you want. I'm not going to stop you. I'm not going to stop you. Do them all. It don't cost you much, but it means so much to us. I am your guy, Cashmere, California. This is the Pod is Good podcast. You can listen to this episode very soon, if not already, depending on when you're watching this. You can listen to it on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music. You can rewatch this again on YouTube. Go to Cashmere, California's page, and I'm right there. Facebook, you know, podcast, Pod is Good podcast on Facebook. However you want to watch it, we here. We got enough more shows coming for you. That's it. I'm talking too much. I'm out of here.